What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Wallet Monkey channel, where we give you all the credit intel you need to grow your wallet. Today, we're going to talk about business credit cards. We're going to cover all these fintechs. I've kind of put them in order. There's way more than this, understand, but these are like the 5 big players that you're constantly hearing about, constantly seeing videos about. Now, also understand that this video, I'm not going to go super in depth for each one. We'll have videos kind of going into each individual place or credit card. But this will just kind of be like a high overview of each one along with my roughed out notes. So you once again get to see into the insanity, which is my brain. And in front of you, you're seeing not only my list of easiest to hardest to get, but also too, just my breakdown roughed out notes. And then we're going to go through, I think I got a couple links teed up for you as well. So yes, let's dive into it. So we're at that place where we've set the foundation with a lot of this stuff. We've got an entire playlist built on a lot of business building basics. There's really 2 routes to go. The old school route is after, first off, let's put that to the side for a sec. When we set up our business, there's a reason why I told you to not set up PO boxes, UPS stores, to get a valid domain and use that domain email account, and to do all these things, get a phone number, get a physical address, right? And with a lot of these things that you go and try and get, these financial vehicles, you can get away with it to not have them. I understand that, right? Like I can go get a Amex card right now out of the gates, a business card, the blue card, and I can get a 3 to 5K limit with just an EIN. I know that. There's a ton of other stuff. Vendor accounts really don't care about a lot of this stuff. I know that. But if we are to open a legitimate business and want to build legitimate business credit over the long term, why not just go do it now, right? Why not just set it up right from the beginning? Now, if you can't, or you're planning on doing it, but you got to do this to do that, I understand all that, okay? So I get it. Now, we've gone and we've set up all that, we've established it, right? Then there's like this traditional way that people are taught to build business credit, which takes a long time, takes like a couple years. And that is the tiered system. I don't know who came up with this, but it just kind of stuck. And so like your tier 1 accounts are like your vendor accounts, your net 30s, that's like your Ulines, your Quill, things like that, right? And then there's Granger, and then there's other ones on top of that, and there's a whole new slew of tier 1 accounts. We covered 13 of them in a video. I'll link the card in the video right now. And so in videos, I've covered how to set up the business basics, the tier 1 accounts, all of this, what banks report to what bureaus, what are the major credit bureaus on the business side because they're different than the personal side. All of that foundation has been laid to now start talking about some of the good stuff, which we'll do today. So we've got a dedicated Divvy video, but in case you didn't know, Divvy is like a credit builder, but for business. And they've got 2 different programs. They've got a credit builder program, which everyone gets approved for if you get denied for their line of credit. I would suggest that if you're brand new and want to skip the vendor game, or you're doing a vendor game while you're doing this and you need this piece or want it, do it and do the rewards program anyways, because there is a ton of benefit to it, and those data points and that transactional history will pay you in spades to then upgrade into that ecosystem. Something to keep in mind, even though the big banks are just now kind of starting to do like internal scores and transactional history, it's like really, really important the last couple years. With fintechs, from the beginning, they're going to do that. All these huge fintech ecosystems, it will pay off in spades. That being said, you need to focus on just a couple, because you're not going to have enough time or money to go and set up 5, 10 of these things and try and game and scheme, right? So you're just not going to have enough bandwidth or effort. All right, so Divvy, there's no hard pull, underwrites you off IMEX, analyzing your business history. That is a third-party integration like Plaid or Plaid, whatever you want to call it. Limited history will not be approved. Could go secured and switch to unsecured. These are just my raw notes. Reports to Dun & Brad and the SBFE. No annual fees, earns rewards, unlimited virtual cards. Then the credit builder, again, it reports to the Dun & Brad and SBFE. Here's why that actually matters. Because everyone in the business space scrapes the SBFE. That is the hub for data points. You want to get data points with them through any means necessary. So by doing this credit builder program, like I said, again, let's assume you're denied for the line of credit. Doing this will get data over to them, which everybody else scrapes. There you go. That's why you want that. All right. No hard pull, no impact to personal credit. All right, moving on. Torpago. Again, raw notes. No hard pull, no PGs. based on banking history through a third-party integration. I'm not sure which one it is. Similar to Divvy, revolving balances, looking for established businesses. And so I'm going to show you on, which one is it? I'm going to show you on BREX how to kind of dig into their FAQ, dig into their, their knowledge base section of their sites to get answers. You can apply that to any of these. So you can apply that to these other ones that I'm listing and go and find, or just wait till we do a dedicated video on those ones. Okay, credit on tap is next. So easiest to hardest. Pago is pretty similar to Divvy, so it goes second. Third is CapitalOne Tap, because we start to get into, okay, we need requirements now in terms of how much you're making. And this is really like the defining line for everything else we cover from here through to the end. CapitalOne Tap is the first one that has requirements. So less than a year old is okay, but you gotta have 30,000 or more in revenue. That's their baseline. And that might have changed, or it could change by the time you see this video. I don't know. That should be irrelevant. Understand that you've got to be a business operating and making money. So no hard pull based on business bank activity. Starting to see the reoccurring thing here. Fintechs, how they get around the credit score game, hard pulling your personal, making you PG, all that silly stuff. How they get around it is you got to link up your bank account. That's how you get around this stuff. Okay. So $1,000 to $50,000 limits for credit on CapitalOne Tap. I keep saying credit on tap. They should have just called it credit on tap, right? CapitalOne Tap? I don't know. Same thing. All right. Soft pull, Experian business, personal. They pull FICO 8. Okay. Pay in full monthly or pay 10% are the repayment options. It's issued by WebBank. This is important because if you've had issues with them trying to get personal credit, which is WebBank does like everything, dude. Not everything, but they do a lot. They do PayPal. They do Pedal. I think they do a couple of the other like newer fintechs. They back a lot of them. So that's great intel, because if I can go over here to Pedal and do a pre-qualification soft pull, and that's backed by WebBank, and I'm denied, and I do another one that's WebBank, like let's say PayPal, soft pull, denied. Well, do you think you're going to be approved for CapitalOne Tap? Maybe, but odds are starting to stack against you, right? So I tell you that for data standpoint. Like, we're trying to figure out a way to win. That's it. Legally, morally, ethically, right? So we can go and do something like that, and it gives us a data point, gives us an uptick of something. Might be usable, might not be. It's not going to hurt you either way. All right, business bank statements. That's CapitalOne Tap. Keep wanting to say credit on tap. All right, now we're into BREX. Let me show you some of these other pieces that we can kind of dig into so that you can start to see where the gaps are and answer the questions that you might be having. Before that, no PG, no hard pull. 30-day payment cycle, or there is a daily payment cycle. No fees, 0% APR. You use this Played API. Harder to get. Minimum of $100,000 in the business bank account. I've heard different numbers. It doesn't really matter. It might change by the time you watch this video. You got to have a larger amount flowing through the business bank account. Okay, the amount of capital you got, or cash that's not being used for payroll and business expenses, that might be different. But this is the number that I've got right now. Okay, you could probably just call them and ask. I mean, I like to put different institutions on the spot like that, because like, okay, you could call Chase and be like, hey, is the 524 rule real? They'll say no. But you might get one that says yes, or you just say, okay, so how am I supposed to now make a decision if if I'm up to speed, or if I qualify for you, to do business with you? You could put pressure on them at that point. Anyway, if accredited investor is behind you, only needs $50,000 in business bank account. Interesting. Okay, you have to have, right now the minimums to become an accredited investor in the United States is I think $1 million in like basically liquid cash. And they want to change it right now. They want to raise that to $10 million, which would really, really create inequality. So interesting, right? And then the two pieces of information that I've got are right here. So this is what I mean. We are in brex.com/support/applications. Look at all this stuff over here that we can read about. Well, a lot of it you don't need, but this one, you can start to get answers. Are there certain types of businesses that can't apply for BREX? Yes, like medical marijuana industry. You can't, because it's not federally approved yet. So that's just an easy one off the hip, is some types of businesses that are mostly cash businesses because nobody will bring them on. Well, you can't get BREX either. You can't get these fintechs because it's going to put them in a riskful position from a federal level. Shell companies, can you use a shell company? No. Okay, if I just applied, why am I being asked to submit additional documentation? Was I approved for the daily or the monthly payments, right? Can I mail something to you? Here's one that I wanted to show you right here. What is a valid business address? This is why we set this up from the get-go is that we want this to be in position to succeed everywhere. But here's where you could do this and not, and it's okay. All right. We also accept PO boxes, UPS shipping addresses, virtual offices, and registered agents in the US. Crazy, right? I think they're gonna start really changing like this kind of unwritten rule. But to be safe, I'd rather just be down the middle, safe for everything. That being said, well, there you have it. Here is an example of a big box fintech company that will accept PO boxes, etc. Okay. The other stuff that I thought was more pressing was here. Okay, credit cards paid daily. Who qualifies? For a company of any size, no minimum balance. Comes with every BREX cash account. Does it build business credit? Yes. Okay, what are the limits? Your card limit will be 100% of your BREX cash account's available balance based on your checking account that you link up. Do I earn rewards? Up to 8%. So again, we'll dive into the nitty-gritty details. Some of these cards are really, really good. How do I pay my card balance? The card will be paid daily from your BREX cash account balance. No fees. Okay, credit card paid monthly. You qualify for 10 to 20x higher limits than traditional corporate cards, up to 7x rewards points, eligible for companies that meet certain size and revenue criteria. Requires application. So we can get into this ecosystem now and build and grow. Understand that you might have to pay daily. So they might accept you being smaller, even based off the requirements that I gave. So this is where we open up the little chat widget on the website and start to ask questions, right? And dig around. That's how we get data points as a community. If you got data points on any of these, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. But if you want to go like fishing around like this is where you go. So I'm just on brex.com/product/credit card #/ qualifications. You see, there's all kinds. Ooh, look, here's even more. Consumers, sole proprietors, unincorporated partnerships, and companies registered outside the US are not permitted to use or attempt to use a BREX account. See? So this is why we read this stuff. BREX underwrites with your EIN, not social security numbers. So there's how you get no hard pull, no PG, right? Well, that and other data points that I've got, but like that starts to tell you, right? So I wouldn't base the decision just off of this, but okay, great. Now let's cross-reference that against other data points that we're getting. Okay, how do you determine credit limit? Credit limits are dynamic by design. Instead of checking your personal credit score or FICO, we protect your personal information. Instead, base credit limits off your company's financial information. There you go. Further proof to what we just talked about. So this is why, I don't know, it's like a forgotten art, I feel like. People don't really want to go do digging. And well, digging is when you find the good stuff. All right, give me a second, let me pull up the document again. All right, so that was BREX and then RAMP. So RAMP is like the pinnacle. The reason why is because they require a minimum of $250,000 in a business bank account. So same thing, no hard pull, based off your business banking history, based off transactions, actually making money, seeing ACHs coming and going, corporate card and expense management platform. That part of it is similar to Divvy and BREX. Requires debit card account check, 1.5% cash back on everything, access to over $175,000 in partner reward savings. That's insane. RAMP, Visa, corporate card are issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank. So there's not really a lot of consumer stuff that you could use to cross-reference here. I think Celtic backs a few things. Maybe the, oh man, what is the name of that card? I think it starts with a V. I don't know. One of the new fintechs, I believe they were Deserve. I believe it was Deserve that was using Celtic. That might not be the same now though. Okay. Your first statement will be due 30 days after your first transaction, will be debited from the bank account selected for autopay. So autopay is a requirement. The statement amount due is your company's total balance for the month, procured during the statement period. RAMP will debit your autopay account on the same day of the month every month. How are credit limits decided? This is calculated based on your company's cash balance, which is determined by the drawable reserves in the bank accounts that your company has linked to RAMP. So that's the game. And it goes bigger scale from here, and we kind of fit into this. I'd say at this same level, you could insert Amex corporate cards, which I brought up in the Discord the other day. So the corporate cards, most people don't know that they've got these, but I think they have 4. So they've got the startup and then 3 or maybe 5. So I think there's 4 corporate cards in the startup card, and so 4 or 5 cards that are corporate accounts. And what that's going to be based upon is, once again, your business checking account activity. So this is for a more established business that's making money. The startup might not be. The startup card might. I don't know what you would actually need to qualify for that with them. But again, once you're already in the Amex ecosystem, it starts to make these things easier, doesn't it? So at minimum, we've got direct phone numbers that we can call. Maybe we start to get reps that we know, right? And we can ask these questions and figure out like where you might fit into that. I give a more detailed description in the Discord. I'm going to save it there. So if you want to know more, join the Discord. It's free. Okay, there you go. And then you've got others like Credit Strong. I think kind of fits into the net 30 type game, but it's basically where you decide you're going to pay, I think, $199 and $249 per month, and they give you a $10,000 or $15,000 trade line, and they report that as business credit. So that's another option that you've got, but that is completely separate from like what we just covered. We just covered business credit cards that are from non-banks. These are fintechs, usually more flexible. But again, it's like if we're not pulling your personal credit, not using you as PG, or not using like an insane amount of history to base the decision off of, we are then going straight to your business, straight to your bank account, your business bank account, and pulling from that. So hope that makes sense. But yeah, those are 5. I'd say those are the most popular 5 that you see talked about and discussed. For good reason. They're really, really good, well established. There are tons of extras though for business financing, business loans. We covered SBA loans recently, so we're going to continue to deep dive this stuff. Be on the lookout. We're going to have isolated videos to drill down into each one of these. But if you like this sort of thing and want to help us with the algorithms, like it, comment below, give us some data points if you got them. And then if you're first timer here and you want to subscribe, just hit the red button and turn on the bell. Flick it to all. Be on the lookout. More videos coming soon, my friends.